Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, guess what? It's time for Kris
And Kris.
in the morning, wherever you are. Super pumped for today's show, right? Guest speaker.
Yep.
Woo,
Anytime we have a special guest, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Because we just get so bored of each other. No, we don't.
No,
we really don't.
I mean, come on, look at us. How could we be bored with
We
each
can
other?
sit and talk about market stats for like an hour and just back and forth because we love each other so much. But we won't. We're going to get into it really quick and then we're going to get to Karen.
All right, what are you drinking today?
Water.
Water.
Hydration.
Right, I know. Someone brought in super tasty caramel brownies today. I am opting for coffee because brownies, coffee, come on.
Perfect breakfast combination.
Amazing. Yes, that was literally was breakfast this
brownies.
morning.
There are 2 eggs in it. It totally counts.
Yes, exactly.
Moving right into it. Number of homes on the market.
Market stats, number of homes on the market. We actually had a little drop. Nothing too significant.
We did. Down 5.49%. Not quite
Yes,
5.
week before, 3,314 homes. This last week, 3,132 homes. Not a huge dip, but we've seen this upward trend, so that's nothing too crazy.
No, this week, this is a good week for sellers. This trend is good for sellers because we've got, the homes, the median house price as well is up.
Yeah, up by a little bit, right? We had 404,500 the previous week. This last week was 405,000. It really is holding steady at that 400,000 mark, right? I mean, it's dipping a little here and there, but wow, $400,000 is for the median home price?
I hope it stays right around there. People can't afford for it to get too much more expensive, but I know this is great for sellers, so
yeah,
congratulations.
Absolutely. Hey, homes are only staying on the market, looks like
7 days. I love 7.
Sevens. It's sevens and sevens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And number of homes sold. A couple weeks ago, we had a little bit of a dip, which is who knows why. Sometimes it's just the market is that way, but it bounced right back up.
Yeah. 623 homes sold this week.
Right, up from previous 556 the week before.
That's up 12%.
Up 12%.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Ain't
Things are
bad.
moving along. Right. So, you know what? Let's get to the meat of this show.
Oh yeah. I
And
think Karen's on standby. Let me make sure she's ready.
Is she ready?
Yeah, Karen is ready.
Oh, I'm so excited, y'all. Super pumped.
Solar. Let's talk solar with somebody who knows what they're talking about. Here we go.
Right.
Hey, Karen.
It's Karen.
Hi.
Speaker extraordinaire. We are so excited to have you.
We mentioned earlier.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
We mentioned earlier that you were going to be on the show. Now, this is Karen, and your last name is what?
Sagastume. Very unique. I know it's hard to pronounce.
And so solar, what's your company? Tell us about where you're from and what you're doing, and then we'll get into some questions.
All right. So the solar company I work for is Kayo Energy. They've been on Forbes lately, and they're just killing it in the game. It's one of the best. What I've seen a lot in this industry has been that a lot of these solar companies, they work with different companies. So for example, they'll do they do construction with one company, and then they have to call, and if something goes wrong, you have to contact them. You don't just directly work with the first company you spoke to and that they gave you the estimate with. So with us, everything is done through us, except for the financing. For the financing, we do have to lease with GoodLeap, but I think everybody has to do that. But it's great that if you have any issues with installation, any issues with any questions for adding the broker or the anything, you can just directly call us and then we can get it together. Yeah. So it's immediate help.
That's great. Yeah. In-house is always a good thing because it's less run around, and then you always get the answer you're looking for. So
the customers never want to have extra stuff to do. If you can just call somebody and get the problem fixed, I think that's exactly what the customers want and what we want for them too.
All aspects of life, I think that applies, right? Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the whole process of if you can, just solar. How does it work? What happens when someone says?
So with solar energy, the way that we like to see it is definitely helping the environment #1 priority. Like with global warming, with people getting asthma, people getting cancer from air pollution and all of that, that's all getting done because of the whole coal, and NV Energy, that's their #1 that they go to. That's what they've been using for years. They use the coal. But what we found out and what we've been learning is that with solar panels, when even let's say you have solar energy and you just have extra that your house isn't even like using, you collect it, and NV Energy can give you a credit. And they use that solar energy to sell to their clients, so they don't have to burn any more coal, but they can use all of the solar energy that they get from all these people that don't use it.
That's great. I didn't know if they're still doing that.
Yeah, so
I
you're
remember that program.
contributing to the grid just as a solar customer.
Yeah, so I mean, this is amazing. You're not only helping yourself with, you know, doing your part in the environment, but you're also, if you don't even use a lot, you're also helping others, and you're helping the energy to not have to like do that whole process that it's just so damaging to our world.
And you're lowering your bill. So even if you don't care about the environment, that's how much lower your bill's going to be.
Yeah, like I haven't even touched that. It's just environment, but definitely lowering your bill for our personal preferences, and like what we like to do is not pay a lot. We like to be, if we can have a consistent low bill, we're all for that. If we can get an incentive, we're all for that too. So there's different perks about solar. The incentive, for example, so here, let me show you a chart real quick. So this one, I don't know if you can quite see it, but so the total would be that. And then this person, they qualified when they did their taxes and they put the solar panels that they got it installed, they got a credit of $6,309 for an incentive. So that money, right. So what happens is that if you're a 1099, then, and you have to pay taxes, you can use that credit to pay off your taxes on your 1099.
Okay.
Now, if you're a W-2, you can use it, if they'll give you a check, and you can either use it to put it back to your solar panels, reduce the amount. So you're not stuck with 24,000 anymore, but now you're stuck with 17,000. And for the first 18 months, this person was estimated to pay $60 a month.
That's great.
Oh my God.
And if you put your incentive back, you're basically going to pay off for the rest 25 years. You're going to stay paying $60 a month.
I can get on board with that.
I think about my electric bill. I remember when I first moved here, and I'm going to date myself here, back in 2004 when I bought my house in North Las Vegas. That first summer electric bill was over $400.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've just been like in
so
constant
conscious.
sticker shock, right?
Yeah.
It's like every light, everything, turn it off, turn it off.
So I think our bill's $350
Yeah,
still.
it's insane.
Pool equipment runs hot, you know, so that's a
yeah.
killer on the energy bill. But the amount you can save from using solar energy, and it's all around us in Nevada. Like we have so much sun here. Why not harness that?
It's such an ideal place to have solar panels. Like it's not like we have rain and all this crazy other weather. We literally have the sun for the majority of the year. Why not use it up?
We'll utilize it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do we have? Should we ask this one?
Yeah.
Location?
Well, let's talk a little bit about, okay, so we've described how solar works. We talked about how it going back to the grid, some great stuff on tax credits. So if someone's ready to pull the trigger and say, all right, this sounds exactly what I want to do, what are some of the requirements for going solar? So they contact you. They contact
Step one, contact
me.
You in particular, sure.
And
yes, contact me. And then, so we would have to ask you or the client to send us their bill.
Okay.
And what we get off the bill would be this chart.
Okay.
Of what the yearly use is. So from that, we'll give you an estimate when we meet up, and we'll give you an estimate of how much electricity your house uses and what the lowest rate we can give you for the first 18 months would be, how much it would be for the remaining of the 25 years. We'll basically give you this full estimate that I showed you earlier of how much, and then we also get a satellite view of your roof, so we can kind of see where we would locate the solar panels and how much would fit. So we can give you a rough estimate of how much the solar panels would be, how much you would need for it to cover 100% of the house, if we can get to 100%, if not close. But that would be step number one. Once we get together, if everything looks good to you, then credit. Credit would be the next question. If you have a 650 or higher, then you're good to go for Good Leap. And I always like to recommend for you to purchase. There's nothing better than for you to purchase the solar panel. It gets less complicated when, you know, later on when you want to sell your home as well.
That's one of our questions too. We're curious about the resale versus of owning versus selling, how difficult, but continue with this vein first. We'll get to that.
Okay. So yeah, I think once because the good thing about this too is that because the rate is so low, you can keep paying it as low as you want. But if you want to send extra money, as soon as you're done paying your solar panels, you have no bill. Unless you exceed the amount of electricity that your solar panels produce for your house, but you have to be like consistently leaving your lights on and like overusing the electricity, then you would get a bill from NV Energy. But once you're done paying those solar panels, and the sooner you pay it off, the sooner you have no bill.
And the amount of energy your house can produce is determined by each house is different, right?
Yes, each house is different. That's why we have to look at the chart from your Nevada energy bill to see how much in a yearly basis is that your house uses.
Okay.
And besides the solar panels, what other equipment might be involved with that? Because I'm assuming it's more than just the panels, right?
Yeah, so it's the panels, but so let me go a little bit back. So the second step after we check your credit, you qualify and everything, then we would send somebody to go check your roof, your attic, and your breaker. So when they check those three things, if any of those three things are not, they're not okay for the solar panels to get installed on there, we also can give you an estimate of how much it would be for you to fix the attic or fix the roof, fix the breaker. Because the breaker has to be in a full capacity to support the full solar panels.
I'm assuming that a lot of newer construction would probably
have that already.
Be like ready to go, right?
But yeah, and even the houses in North Las Vegas, even those houses we've checked some too, and they're still good. Like the roof has to be super damaged, the attic and the breaker. The breakers are the only main problems like out in the older houses because they don't fully support the solar panels, but that's an easy fix. No down payment, no like money off the bat that you have to give. It can be done and added on your
rolled into it
on your loan. Yeah.
See, and that's nice because I think people get scared off at how big of a project it seems. You know, like solar, you have to do a lot, you know, and then if some things aren't up to code, you got to go fix stuff. So I think it just scares people, that concept, but there's so many benefits to it that.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, the way that you're explaining it, it seems really straightforward and it's not, it's kind of removing the mystery.
And going back on the fact that we handle everything, it just makes the client's life so much easier because we can deal with your breaker. We can fix everything all together. We don't have to contact anybody to come and do that first before we do the solar, like we can do everything all at once. And it's just up to the customer if they want to go for it and if they're ready to upgrade and start living that good life of
that green life.
Having a low bill.
I love it.
Green life, because green because you're saving money, and green because it's environmental.
It's a win-win.
Dealing with HOAs, that could be a concern. Is that something that your company would deal with, or is that something that the homeowner would have to be concerned with? Because I know, there's always some sort of regulations with what can go on a roof or in the yard, or some HOAs are very strict. So how does that process work?
So every HOA, I've noticed that it's different. So it's definitely have to go by case. Okay. I know our company, they do all the handling with permits. So anybody they need to talk to, get permits, get approval from, they do the majority of the work. Now, if it's something that maybe they need a call from the client to verify or anything like that, obviously, the client does have to get involved, but for the most part, we take care of all.
Yeah, a verification call is a lot simpler than a handling the whole thing call. So that's great. That's such a benefit to have it all under one umbrella. That's great. Yeah.
Love that. So say someone's they're ready to go. they have you install it. Maybe in a year they decide, oh, I actually have to move, whether it's family or they're
Yeah, what's
changing houses.
the difference of owning the panels and reselling the house? Obviously, that's just a straightforward. You're gaining equity for sure.
Right.
Now,
Versus
when
finance.
you have to finance, yeah. So how's the resale work on a finance?
Yeah, so for leasing, I've noticed that it is a little bit harder because you do have to qualify to stay stuck with that payment. When you own it, you can qualify the owner to see if they want to pay it off the bat, or if the seller just wants to pay it off the bat and then just add equity to the house for the value to go up higher. Right. So there's choices for the owner of the solar panels to either pay it all off and then sell it because he wants to raise the amount of the house. He can organize it, or he or she can organize it in different ways to make it work a little bit easier, but at least you're stuck with that lease for ever and beyond.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets a little bit more complicated because you have to be able to qualify not only for your house, but now you have to qualify to purchase, to get responsibility for the solar panels as well. And that's why I feel like it's just, it makes everybody's life easier. If you're gonna buy or if you're gonna sell, like you just, leasing has been a little bit more tricky. But I mean, we still do it for those people, you know, that are retired and not working. They unfortunately have to lease. So it's still an option there, but those are the main differences.
But I like that concept. If you're going to sell your house, it's going to increase the value of your house to have the solar. So when you get that money from the sale, you can just pay it off. And that's included with like, hey,
Exactly.
solar panels, I'm going to pay for them. And then I'm going to list my house for 50 grand more than I was going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, right now in this market, you could do that for sure.
Yeah. As agents, I think we also look for that too. We look for that paid off solar, and that's a huge perk. I mean, it's a plus for us. We like, not only are you getting solar, don't worry, it's paid off. Like,
yeah.
That's huge.
And guess how much your energy bill is? $60.
$60.
Right? Yeah. And another thing too that I was thinking about the other day is for people that like to rent their houses.
Mm-hmm.
Why invest in solar panels if you're going to be renting your house? Well, once you're done paying for the solar panels, you can charge your renters X amount of money for the solar panels as well. And they don't know, right?
You're basically the electric company.
And the electricity is included in it. Yeah, I'm like, it's such a good way of doing business. It's a good benefit for personal. It's just all around. It's a win-win, like I said.
We concur. I mean, that was basically our topic last week was that we were in approval. So, and we're like, you know what? Somebody knows more about this than we do. Let's talk
Find the experts.
But we agree with you. I mean, solar for the win.
Yes.
Well, I feel like, what else do we have? This feels good. I think we have all we need. And Karen, thank you so much. We're going to put all of our information down below.
Yep.
And call Karen.
Yes, call me. Any questions? Estimates are free. Don't feel responsible to have to like that I'm going to be calling your phone or anything. No, it's your convenience. I definitely like to take care of my clients. If it's convenient for you, I'll definitely let you know. If it's not convenient because it's not in the right location or the roof isn't big enough because you need more panels than what the roof can support, all that information I'll give you down to the nitty gritty. And just either contact me by email or text, phone call. I'm available. So
Kris and Kris approved. This is Karen.
Absolutely.
Stamp of approval. Can you put a stamp on there?
Ooh,
Ching.
I can. We'll figure out the graphics on that.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was really good having you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have mine now. I need one now.
Next time,
yes.
I'll make you a glass too. You can use my K. Just use it. There you go.
Yes, there you go. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Have a good one, Karen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, super informative. That's all great information. And don't forget, her information is going to be in the video description. Best way to contact her, email, everything. I learned a lot
Plug
today.
that in. I did too, honestly. 1099s. That's gonna be. That's. I was like, well, I'm a 1099. I'm a 1099 now.
Yeah,
How can I benefit
Right?
from
We
solar?
are 1099s.
Yeah.
I feel so different saying that.
I would say my biggest takeaway from that was that it's all encompassing, that the company deals with everything, because that really is a huge part, because it's like playing telephone. And if too many things are delivered to different people, then things get lost. So I love that about that
Yeah,
company.
absolutely. And the fact that she was saying that they can even address the issue with the breakers in case there was an issue with that,
Electrical.
roof repairs, things like that. Having it all under one
Roof.
company, one roof, under one umbrella.
One
Actually, no.
solar roof.
But that is super helpful, because how many
It
times have we been in that situation where it's like, oh
Inspectors
no,
and
call
appraisals
that person.
and
No.
lenders and it's
Oh,
a lot of
my
moving
gosh.
parts. So somebody's got to be the glue, and I'm glad that they're able to do it all.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
absolutely. So thank you again, Karen, for being our
Yes,
guest
thank you
this
so much.
week. Super helpful. Like I said, the information is going to be down below in the video description.
Contact for any kind of solar consultation. I feel like I might need a consultation
Right.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, I think this has been an amazing week.
Just another one. Duh.
Love it. Love it.
Duh.
Another one in the books.
Thanks for joining us,
Yes.
and we'll see you next time.
On the next
Kris and Kris.
Kris and Kris.